So that had a very dramatic twist towards the end of this episode. I mean, to be fair, I should have saw it coming. I should have saw the fan service coming, because when you really think about what this series is about, it's bound to happen. So I guess it's shame on me for being shocked about it. It's just like, to the extent of how far it went is kind of why I'm shocked. So I could definitely see this episode turning a lot of people away, because I think many that might start this series could be just for the comedy and the isekai, but after this episode, if you're someone that's just for the comedy, etc., and you see what happened, it went full on like Alabama mode, you're like, I don't think this series for me. I think many are going to say that because of just what happened. But let's talk about kind of the art of that. So besides the blinding light, and I can't show the pictures on screen for obvious reasons because, YouTube, apparently the artist of this anime, or at least the series, is Pochi, which is a famous hentai doujin artist / writer. It's all starting to click together and make sense now. When you factor everything in and you realize, wait a minute, you have a doujin writer that is doing the art for this series, it all makes sense now. Especially when you see that scene. You're just like, yeah, it definitely seemed very over the top and very explicit compared to the normal fan service scenes. So, definitely can see where the artist's background is from. Not a bad thing by any means, I'm just saying you can definitely see it. So, enough with that. Let's talk about this episode. So, Okasa-san Episode 2. I gotta say, the more I watch of this series, the more I'm kind of like, it's okay. Like, it's nothing relatively amazing, and I'm not factoring in the fan service, okay? I'm not downing this episode of the series for the fan service. I just want to clarify that. I noticed that this series, it's really not mainly just an adventure story or an isekai, it's just kind of like the main character growing closer to his mother. That's really what this is about. It's about the main character learning to get along with his mother, or the people within this story learning to get along with their mother and be able to just spend time together. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's good to be able to have a good relationship with your parent. But I wanted more from this series besides just that. It feels like the series is really riding heavily on the whole mother aspect, and that's it. That's really all it has going for it. Because when you really think about, like, all the characters, to the setting, and all of that, it doesn't really have anything that's too dire, like, in terms of, like, crazy where there's like this tension / fret, because normally when it comes to a isekai series, usually there's like, oh, they've been transported to this world, they're lost, nobody knows who they are, nobody knows where they came from, and so they're kind of isolated, and they're in this whole new world that they have to explore, which it does have that kind of theme. But the thing is that this is a game to where there's a bunch of different beta testers, and everybody knows what to expect. Everybody's talking with each other, and they're not necessarily lost. They're actual people from the original world. So there's not that isolated feeling that you normally get, that tension. But it doesn't just stop there. It's also the fact that there isn't any major threat that needs to be dealt with. When you think about it, there's like no major demon king or whatever that's currently threatening the world. There's no like major evil plot that's seemingly been built up to really get our characters in this world. I guess you could say that the government has started something to get them here, but overall, it's nothing too crazy. It seems like it's more of a comedy reason just to make sure that the children can get along with their mothers. That's really all it looks like at this point. And so, in terms of wanting more than just the mother theme, it doesn't seem like this series is really offering anything. Which, I think some will be fine with it. It just, for me personally, someone that really wants, like, not action, but just like an adventure and, to be immersed in a fantasy world, this series is really not cutting it. It's really not cutting it in that aspect, because I want more. I want more in terms of just, like the story. It just doesn't feel like we really have a story here. It just feels like we're going to point A to point B and, these crazy antics with, the mother and her son. That's it. That's really all it looks like. Which, I mean, I guess comedy can work, but it's not the same level of comedy as like Konosuba. Konosuba's comedy works because just the way it's presented, and I think the writing of this episode, I don't know how the light novel is, because I know light novel and anime can vary a lot. I just know that it seemed like this episode was really trying hard to kind of make the mage or whatever, like Wise, into an Aqua. I don't know how many felt that, but I definitely did. There is so many scenes to where the main male character is calling Wise a useless mage. And when I think of something like that, with just how many times he said it throughout the episode, I'm like, are you trying to kind of reinforce that you want a character like Aqua from Konosuba? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Like, you're wanting a character like that? Because it doesn't just happen. You don't just create characters like that instantly. You have to present it in a way that's just so shocking and not force it that you could fall in love with it. Because, see, the reason why Aqua works is because of how she was presented as a character. She was presented as this goddess, someone that actually transports people between worlds. Cosma being who he was very scummy, he was upset, and he wanted to get back at this goddess that was just being all condescending. So he dragged her with him into this new world. So it made sense why she was useless and her attitude and all that, and it worked. But this Wise character, I don't necessarily think she is as useless as the MC is trying to say. I just think that she's just having a very unfortunate situation, and she's not really able to use her abilities to the best of she can. So, yeah. I just think that this series is definitely lacking a few things and really trying to shove, a certain character type in your face and make you, say, oh, this is Aqua, when it's really not gonna work like that. Okay, so anything really else? Not really. Like I said, this episode is just literally trying to get close to your mother, like relationship-wise, and I don't know. I think that this series, I'll give it one more episode just to see where it's going to go. But after seeing episode 2, I'm kind of just like, meh, it doesn't seem like it's going to be relatively for me, which is okay. I mean, yeah, not everything's going to be for me. I just, I was hoping for a little bit more, especially from the unique just description of this series, but I guess that's not the case. So I think I want to wrap up this video, because like I said, it's a very simplistic episode, and I think it's really easy kind of to comprehend what this episode's about. So I want to leave it at that. I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.